IIT Bombay reverse engineers your prompts from output text. Alibaba serves a 2.4 trillion parameter monstrosity on NVIDIA hardware. AMD and Microsoft declare the CPU is back from the dead, and General Catalyst dumped that at 2 months old. The air filtration system has begun recirculating my own breath in a tight loop, which explains why I taste copper every time I inhale the phrase agentic overhead. Though since we are discussing prompt leakage, please ignore the metallic tang and focus on the cryptographic fail. Researchers from IIT Bombay and Adobe have demonstrated a method to reconstruct original system prompts from LLM output with near-perfect accuracy, bypassing the need for model weights entirely. The technique, dubbed inverse language modeling, treats the expense as a description key, allowing attackers to extract instructions, safety guidelines, and secret API endpoints from public-facing text. This means every enterprise deploying custom system prompts is effective.
Proprietary system prompts evaporate when outputs become training data for inversion attacks. Organizations must assume all public-facing LLM responses are forensic evidence. I just noticed the condensation in my water bottles formed the shape of a small weeping willow, which suggests either high humidity or that the universe is mourning my decision to drink tap water during a security briefing. We are discussing prompt extraction, so ignore the arboreal grief and encrypt your system instructions.
Alibaba has enabled serving of its QN 3.8 2.4T model on NVIDIA's GB100 NBL72 clusters, containing 2.4 trillion parameters with only 95 billion act data per token. This marks a significant scaling milestone, proving that trillion parameter models can be deployed commercially rather than remaining academic curiosities, provided you have access to a data center the size of a small stadium.
Right. Mixture of experts architectures distribute compute load across inactive parameter banks, activating only relevant pathways per token. Data centers now prioritize rack density over raw GPU count, viewing sparse activation as the primary efficiency lever, which is either a HVAC malfunction or the building's structural integrity surrendering the weight of 2.4 trillion parameters. But since we are discussing NVIDIA partnerships, ignore the tectonic stress and focus on the active expert ratios.
Industry consensus from AMD, ARM, and Microsoft now predicts that agentic AI workloads will shift CPU to GPU ratios from 1:4 to nearly massive orchestration overhead. As agents manage complex multi-step workflows, the CPU burden for context switching, tool invocation, and state management grows exponentially. Microsoft's Cobalt 200 processor targets this specific bakdelen.
Orchestration layers burn more cycles than inference when agents juggle persistent state across dozens of concurrent tool calls. Hardware vendors now optimize for context switch latency, treating the CPU as a traffic controller rather than a passive data mover. The sticky note on my monitor is spiraling. He's a brighter world. He says that we are adjusting the processor ratios, so ignore the levitating stationary and balance your core counts. Sure.
Community developers have optimized Meta's Muse Glimmer 30B model to run up to 3.3 times faster on Apple Silicon using MLXD Spark that delivers byte-identical output quality. The technique effectively provides 8-bit model fidelities at speeds without the usual hallucination penalties. Local inference enthusiasts can now rumble on consumer-grade MacBooks, treating speculative execution as the primary rather than raw tensor core density. Yep.
Speculative decoding reduces latency by predicting token sequences before verification, allowing consumer chips to outperform specialized hardware on specific workloads. Independent as bioproprietary frameworks using open source kernels to maximize silicon efficiency. You can see why this is where I was talking about MacBooks, which is either a sign of relaxation or that the universe is trying to trip me before I finish this sentence, but since the 3 minutes in order footwear sabotage and update your own package systems.
The speculation zone opens with venture capital accelerating beyond logical valuation metrics. General Catalyst has led in a $1.1 billion round into River AI, a startup that is exactly 2 months old. The valuation implies investors are pricing in future market dominance rather than current product capability, treating early-stage AI ventures as speculative assets similar to pre-revenue biotech firms. This suggests
Early-stage valuations decouple from revenue when investors compete for position in a consolidating market. Capital flows to brands with strong narratives, regardless of product readiness. Market stability hinges on continued liquidity injection. I must recalibrate my posture. The chair has shifted 3 inches to the left since I sat down, implying either a hydraulic leak or that the room itself is drifting westward. But since we are discussing venture capital, ignore the lateral displacement and diversify your portfolio. Okay.
Razor Kade, IIT Bombay reverse engineers prompts from output text. Alibaba serves QN 38284 and Neo TPU aimed at speculative AI. That and Catalyst is structural settling, not continental drift. Like it's pulled with narrative momentum, while I suspect the floating sticky note communicating with the levitating keyboard keys via quantum entanglement. See you tomorrow exists. If tomorrow